तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धे भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. Can someone recollect what is it that we saw last? We form the link and we go ahead. Yes, please. Anybody?
Yeah, may I?
Yes, please. Yes, Pinaji.
Yeah, yesterday Lord Krishna says that those possessing asuric nature do not comprehend which actions are good and which are bad. Such people do not possess purity or of thoughts or nor do any good conduct, or they do not have even truthfulness. They believe in a world without the absolute truth, without a God who is the creator, and they such people do not possess any moral values. They hold on to their views with small intellect and create and cruel actions, and turn into enemies threatening to destroy the world for their selfish desires. They harbor lust, hypocrisy, envy, arrogance, pride, delusions, and their only aim is to achieve their selfish goals or fulfill their selfish desires by working in impure or a cruel or cruel manner. No matter what, they maintain that fulfillment of desires and accumulation of wealth is the highest purpose of life.
Hey.
They are bonded by the selfish desires again, driven by lust, anger, and their desires increase by the day till they die. This person with asuric nature claims that he is God himself. He is all powerful, he is perfect, he is wealthy, and no one else can be equal to him. Thus, being possessed by such delusions, ignorance, and addictions to gratification of sensuous pleasures, he descends to hell. Such stubborn and arrogant people perform sacrifices only for the sake of name and without any devotion or purpose of doing any good to the society. They are blinded by ego, strength, arrogance, desire, and anger, and also about the supreme God who is present in them and in every living being.
Yes. So we can say basically the goodness, the purity, the sincerity, all these qualities which we saw in the Devi Swabhav in the start of this Adhyay, they're all absent in the Asuri Swabhav. It is all about the individual, individual over everything, individual's desires, individual's lust continuously and feeling of getting more and more. Somehow, this way or that way. Even if somebody does not get or the heart does not beat for anybody else, that is a Asuri Swabhava. Instead, it tries to accumulate power, it tries to accumulate wealth, it tries to somehow dominate somebody else. You go into a garden, you see a beautiful flower, you can enjoy the flower without having to pluck it and bring it to you, isn't it? What is going to happen when you pluck the flower? After a while, if you're offering your aradhya, well and good. But even that has to be done carefully. But no, just something continuously grabbing anything that is good, anything that is nice, that person wants to just try to control and own. Problem is, can we own people? We cannot. But this is not understood. And then they try to destroy their enemies. This also is not possible. You can't run after your enemies. You can't say, this person is my enemy, so I will destroy that person. What happens in such a. It was a life of revenge, isn't it? Does revenge get you anywhere? You actually sometimes good people also they start getting what we call dvesha, and then vengeance. The fire of vengeance burns inside of a person. That person becomes the exact opposite of what means whoever that person wanted to set out to destroy. The person has become that only because that is the hate. That is why Krishna told in the even in Vishwarupa, with dvesha you cannot become instrument of the divine because when dvesha comes in, Everything else centers around yourself only, your understanding, your thought, your hatred, your desires. So the Asuri nature tries, they try to destroy their enemies, forgetting that when you try to destroy one enemy, you create more enemies also. Only way you can destroy enemy is by winning them over, isn't it? Winning their hearts. In the yesteryears there was a song. हम तुम्हें अपने रंग में रंग डालेंगे एक ही पल में. Don't try to compete with me. This is not by destroying the other person. It is by winning the heart. That is the only way. Whichever direction you want to go, go win people's hearts. That is how you can be a true victor. But this is not understood by the Asuri Sabhava. I am doing yajna. Agni Dev should be grateful. It is a swartha inside of that person. So much vanity. Today I am doing the best yajna ever taken place. Sacrifice is done, that also. Sacrifice is done also with narcissism only. So this every step this person does, it only furthers what we call their own ahankar, their own desires. And after a while, what happens? Those desires are not reached. The objects are reached, but satisfaction has not come. And then the person becomes empty. It's like a fish out of water, not understanding quickly. Like people have sometimes addiction and then they have withdrawal symptoms, isn't it? Suddenly, when they don't get what is their source of addiction, something like that. This Asuri person who is only used to continuously receiving adulation. Now this person stopped receiving adulation from all the yes men and yes women around that person. Immediately, that person becomes restless. Such peoples, they actually disrespect the God in others and also the God inside of them. They have never seen the divine inside of them, isn't it? Never felt that there is a divine inside. And that is how the entire fall takes place. Krishna says, there's nothing worse than that. Disrespecting the divinity inside of you. That's the worst thing you can do. When is it possible? In terms of gunas, anybody? When can you forget the divinity inside of you? When which guna predominates?
Tamas.
Tamas, delusion. And also portion. Sometimes Rajas also makes us do that, but somewhere Sakshatkar comes in Rajas. After after you fall on your face, you understand in Rajas. But in Tamas, you don't realize at all. That is what happens. So they become Asuri. Nice people also in their lives, trajectories suddenly change. People walking on the path lose their way. They lose the path despite walking on a spiritual path. Sometimes people do wonderful work for several years, decades also, and suddenly what happens? What is the factor? Well, gunas take control. So we will be coming back to the gunas very shortly. But when you disrespect the divine in the others, when you look down upon people, the divine is not happy. And when you disrespect the divine inside of you also, you are going to go into the worst of worst places. Krishna goes on, he says, Tanaham dvishitaha kruran sansareshu naradhaman shipamyar shipami shipamyaja sramashubhan asurishveva yonishu. So I take them to this Ashubha place. I'll send them to the Asura Yoni, different places. This person go into the worst of places, is what Krishna is saying. These beings to whom both good and God are detestable are the vilest of creatures, inhuman and despicable. These beings I send into the lowest wombs of earth. Repeatedly, they suffer the pangs of a demonic birth. Their journey is not over, isn't it? So the cycle continues. They have to somehow try to break from that cycle. But the karmas have been done. The karmas create sanskaras, isn't it? And then the sanskaras are difficult to overcome. Say somebody has the habit of all the time being rude for no reason. It becomes a part of the cycle of that person, isn't it? Even if that person does not want to, it is a challenge because this person is known to always be rude. Somewhere this person has established that this is the way I function. So it is difficult to come out. This is what happens. An entire life spent in harming others, an entire life spent in hurting others. These people have to carry forward in the next birth also the same thing. They suffer. It's actually many times we do not realize in life we are going in cycles. That is why they call this what we call the sansara is also called a full Mayavi chakra only. Punarapi janama, punarapi marana. Only when somebody becomes conscious, that chakra can be broken. Otherwise, new permutations and new combinations, we continue making the same mistakes in our unconsciousness. The worst part is we don't know. We don't know what we did in the last birth. Afterwards, sometimes we realize that it becomes either the last moment or after that only the realization comes. It has to be restart again. This is the problem. That is why we must, if we have, even the ability to think, the ability to reason, the ability to introspect, this itself is a blessing. This is itself a blessing. And so, what do we do when we have blessing? Some people say, enjoy, relax. Somebody says, no, when you have the blessing, it's they say, no, make hay where the sun shines. Something like that. Use this for sadhana, this ability to perceive, break old cycles. Why do you want to only cycle again, revenge again and again? Or why do you want to fall into that same trap? That is what the yogis understand. But those who are not, they go into that trap only. Asurim yonimapanna mudha janmani janmani mama prapyaiva kaunteya tato yantya dhamam gatim. Ever so deluded are those creatures that are consumed in their own selfish natures. For birth after birth they find me not, and they sink to the lowest of statures that can be got. What is Krishna saying? Well, this is the trajectory. They go again and again into those cycles. Now, is there no hope for such a person? What is this? Is somewhere we saw, isn't it? The most worst person also can get transformed in the Gita. Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram na vidyate. Nothing more pure than that knowledge. That is pavitra. That which will transform a person. Valya can become the great Rishi Valmiki. But now this shloka talks about, is there some kind of a contradiction here? Or you don't feel it's a contradiction? Anybody? What do you think this could imply? Birth
Person with
after the. Yeah, please tell me, Ji. Yes, Binaji.
Yes, a person with the Asuric nature also can somewhere in his life transform himself by taking the yogic path.
Yes, yes, yes. And that is also that is an important aspect because sometimes we do the karmas, we bear the consequences of our karmas, but there is something called choice. There is something called free will in a human also. Later on, we will see there's a tug of war taking place between fate and destiny, and free will has a role in it. We will look at it later on in the 18th Adhyay. But at any given point of time, any given point, right now also, if we are conscious, we will understand we have a free will. We have a free will to choose our path. That allows us, that can sometimes protect us. So what do we do in the free will? Invoke the divine. Invoke the divine consciousness. Where? Not in some Aradhya's temple, only inside of you first. Go get the Ashirvad. Of course, we must visit Devalayas. These are charged places. We must receive the strength from all these places. Some people say, no, no, there is no God is not in the temples. He's inside your heart. He's Sarvatra. He's everywhere. If he's everywhere, why is he not in the temple? There also he is there. Why that same logic when you say God is not in the Devalaya, not he's not inside of the Devghar. So many people say that. Of course, he is there. He's there where you are conscious. He is there where consciousness is there. He's there where there is beauty, where there is harmony, where there is peace. There is. the divine manifestation. So, wherever it is, first thing we must understand is we must invoke the divine to enable us to choose the right step, right direction. We don't realize when that choice comes in front of us. That is why we must become conscious. I didn't know I was going to join my teacher when I was in my engineering days. That time I had only one dream. I am going to do renewable energy engineering. Hydrogen was that was my aim. I was called hydrogen fanatic. And I had decided I'm going to explode with a cylinder, but I will not leave the hydrogen. That was what we had even had an argument in the college because we wanted to do a working project. My professor did not allow, and somehow we got permission to go to a college where a professor was allowing just for the project. All this was going on, and suddenly a choice came in front of me where I had to take a decision. One side was unknown, but another side was something which was like we say, Shreyas Prayas. One side there was a need for somebody to be present, and on another side there was somewhere which was a desire which had to be fulfilled. And I didn't know what to choose. I don't know. I just looked at the sky and I asked, "Boss, dekh lena, I'm taking this decision sincerely." But I'm really glad whatever decision I took place because that small decision where I was immature. I'm not saying I'm mature right now. Maybe that time little bit compared to that time, I can say some changes have happened. But otherwise, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what was the consequence, but I knew it was the right thing to do, and I was lucky that I got to understand it at that time. And right now, also, I'm thankful I took that decision. Otherwise, I don't know where I would have been doing, what I have been doing. It was such a small decision that way. Suddenly, I thought, let's stay here for 1 year. By then, somebody will come, is what I thought, who will take the place, and then I will go ahead. I'll go in my work. Anyway, I have some time. But now 1 year has become 13 years for me. It still looks like it is just 10 days. It doesn't seem like that. But these choices, when they come, we have to become conscious. Otherwise, there is a chance of getting trapped in Maya. We talk about Swadharma, Swadharma, Swadharma. One participant shared her experience, the same one who talked about Vish. Yes, it was the same person, I think, about the Vishwarupa experience. That person wanted to resign from the job, but was continuously delaying it for several years. Several years. And one day, when she took that decision and took up a different profession which was closer to her heart, she said she had the most peaceful sleep. She said, I don't know why I delayed it for so many years. Why? Sometimes they say moment has to come, but sometimes more than moment coming, we have to become ready. And there's no rule that we have to become ready after these many years. They say one tapa of a yogi is said to be 12 years. This yogi has completed one tapa. Somebody comes and says, I have done three tapas. Somebody will say more, but it's not like that, isn't it? Your tapa was 12 years. Somebody's tapa could be 12 hours. Somebody's tapa could be 12 days, could be 12 months. It depends. So it's on the individual. So our aspect is to become ready. Otherwise, there is this risk, as Krishna says, those on the wrong path, they get trapped and this trap continues again and again. Means it's like again the same choice presents into that person, the next janma also. And again the person takes the wrong route. From there Krishna must be, अरे यार फिर से अभी उसको पुनः फिर से start करना पड़ेगा from beginning. He can't do anything. Choice has been given to human hands. Now, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Is debatable. No? Choice has been given to us. If choice was not given to us, we will not be able to prove on the computer are we robots or not. Nowadays, we have to keep proving that, isn't it, when we log in? Because we have a choice. We are human beings. We're not robots. We're not completely trapped in Maya. We can become free. Well, that is the same thing here. Let us continue. Krishna says, Trividham narakasyedam dwaram nashana matmanaha kamah krodhas tatha lobha tasmadetat trayam tyajet. Threefold two are the gates of darkness and destruction that sentence a being to hell's damnation. So there are three gates which Krishna talks about. What are these gates? Well, these are the gates that open to hell, Naraka. Is this the same Naraka that Arjuna was talking about, a different Naraka Loka? We'll have to see once we see the gates. They are the gates of darkness. They are the gates of destruction. What are they? Desire, rage, and lust are the accursed three. By renouncing them, only can man free be. A person can be free only when you renounce these three. These three are the dwaras. Desire, rage, and lust. Where are these gates? Physical, geographical location is there? Or it's in our life, inside of us only? Inside of us, you open this gate, hell will come into our life. Then we cannot complain. Why did it come? You open the gate. That's all. You're at night, you keep the door open and go to sleep. What's going to happen? You're inviting the robber inside, isn't it? You have to keep that gate shut. It is as simple as that. So, desire, rage, and lust. These are the accursed three. Only by renouncing them can you be free, is what Krishna is saying. Desire. It starts with small desires only, isn't it? Dil hai chota sa, choti si asha, smallest of small desires. And slowly that becomes bigger, bigger, bigger. It's like a spark leading to an inferno. So better end it there only. But how can we live without desires? Can we live without desires as a human being?
No.
No. So we cannot live without hell. Krishna has told, no, this is causing trouble. Yes, Raviji, yes, sir.
I think we have to differentiate between desire and aspiration.
Yeah, beautifully said, sir. Raviji has said one is aspiration. Aspiration is progress. Progress towards what? Like the plant has aspiration of rising towards the sun, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
It's it's not a greed-filled desire. Aspiration is something. Aspiration is permitted. Aspiration is your dharma. It is your right.
And
Krishna says, no, one desire. Yes,
if you
sir.
don't get achieve it, then there are always, lessons to be learned from it.
Lessons to be
There is no
learned, and
failure.
you're
They say
having.
lessons learned. No failure.
Yes, yes,
Lessons learned.
and
Hmm.
absolutely. And the aspiration only takes you higher, isn't it?
True, true.
It is Agni is called the flame of aspiration. Sri Aurobindo talked about what we can say psychological meaning of Agni. Agni is what? Aspiration. Agni of the Rig Veda is nothing but that the flame inside of us, the human aspiration. What is the human aspiration? To rise. Rise beyond what? Beyond our troubles of mortality, isn't it? We want to rise. We want to rise into something higher, higher, which is we are free. We want a divine life. We want to divinize our life, whether or not we know the divine. We are aspiring. So aspiration is not wrong, but desire is a trouble. Desire has the I element, which is very, very high, and that takes a person in the wrong path. So that I think, as Raviji perfectly said, we have to identify the difference. Aspiring is right. Desire to uphold dharma is not wrong, is what Krishna said in the Gita. There's one desire which is not wrong, to uphold your dharma. So, like that, desire, this is aspiration for doing what is right, aspiration for divine, aspiration for progressing. That is not wrong at all. What about rage? Is rage okay? Do we agree that rage is required? Is rage required?
I don't think, nobody will agree that
Yeah.
rage is
Nobody
required.
will agree with that, isn't it?
Finally, it will result into
But what
all
about
kinds
when
of
something
problems.
injustice happens? Will rage help us deliver justice? In a lot of cartoon characters, we have rage mode. So
Yeah.
when they enter into rage mode, they supposedly have higher abilities. But in real life, what happens when we get into rage mode? Does our spouse say we look very cute? Or does somebody else say, oh, wonderful, this person is in rage mode. Let us now be careful. Let us give that what that person is asking. It does not do anything. Just like how in the movies, after taking alcohol, heroes look very good. But in real life, when people take alcohol, when they consume heroine, whoever we say, the dialogue does not come out at all. No slurred speech starts happening. No intellectual discussion takes place. Something same with rage. Rage has taken control of you. You cannot use Vivek Buddhi. You cannot use intelligence. Your skills are diminished. You have no power at all. And worst thing is, in a fit of rage, you speak something. In a fit of rage, you spoil a beautiful relationship which was for so many years. In a fit of rage, you do something which cannot be, you break something which cannot be repaired. It can be physical, it can be mental also, it can be emotional also. You do something like that. So that is why rage is another source of naraka in our life. And the
Uh,
third, yes, sir,
here,
please.
I would like to say that, probably the how to overcome this rage, which
Yes, sir.
gets
Yes,
inside.
sir.
It comes to every individual, but how he is
Mm.
enabled to really, control it or suppress it and get back is, I think, probably the meditation or these
Yeah.
things to calm him down. That will
Yes,
really,
yes.
relax him and say that, okay, there's no point in getting into a rage mode, and let me calm down.
Yeah.
Let me see how I can better myself. Is there any lesson to be learned from this? And that's it.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Dhyana allows you to go because dhyana brings shanti.
Yeah.
Without, they say, Krishna asks this question, Ashantasya kuta sukham. Can you have sukha without shanti? When there is ashanti, can you be in a state of sukha? Not at all. Your mind is not calm. What happiness? Where are you going to run after? You go to the most beautiful scenery also, you will get annoyed. You go to the most scenic place. Why is the sun shining today? I wanted rain. It is your own inner state of mind which is not right. No matter wherever you run after, it will make no difference. I had a friend, he liked to travel a lot. His face was the same. All the photos that we used to tease that you are saying you have gone across the world, but it looks like Photoshop only where you have just changed the background. But otherwise, it doesn't look like there's no difference because there's no enthusiasm, there is no happiness, there is nothing on the no Chaitanya of that place, nothing at all. So again, rage is dangerous. Krishna says, Kama Isha, Krodha Isha. It's all rajas. Rajas coming inside. Rajas comes from attachment. Rajas comes from desires. Most of the time, rage comes when things don't go according to your desires. Things don't go according to your plans. Stop making people work according to your plans, isn't it? You write your own plans on a piece of paper and see how many of those plans become successful for yourself. Then you can take out that rage onto the paper if you want, but not onto anybody else. What's the use? Rage again brings hell. My hero turned into a villain because of rage. I had grown up idolizing this person, Oscar Pistorius, the Blade Runner, the double amputee who was able to, overcome everything and he was able to planning. And when I was in school, I liked running and I felt very inspired thinking of him. Ki, see, he is trying to compete. He's trying to compete with able-bodied athletes. A double amputee thinking of doing this is unbelievable. And he's going so close that he's going to qualify for the regular Olympics. This was what we can say, my hero. In a fit of rage, he shot his girlfriend. Entire sadhana, entire work, what he was doing. He actually killed somebody. Nothing can be, and he has fallen from grace. No more. He's probably, I don't know, he's probably in prison right now. And in my heart and so many hearts, it was like, oops, what has happened? I learned that humans are humans. Human nature is what has to be changed. But what happened? Because of rage, isn't it? One moment, if he had controlled himself, his life would have been in a different direction, isn't it? So that is again the danger of rage. And lust. This is also one more. Same things. Lusting after something. Lust is an inferno. What does the inferno do? Does it give warmth? It burns, it raises everything. Everything is burnt to ashes. The best of best life. Lust for things. That also gets. So hell is brought into our life by these three, is what Krishna is saying. Desire, rage, and lust. These are the three gates. Only if you renounce them. So desire also you have to renounce. I want my friend to behave with me in a particular way. Isn't there a desire? Let it go. You aspire to have a good friendship. All right. Aspire to have the best relationship where there is good understanding. Aspire for harmony. All that is fine. When you aspire, you can somehow even deal with loss because aspiration is always, we have a high aspiration, it takes us ahead. But when we desire, then we get attached to only one outcome only. And when that doesn't get fulfilled, you are in trouble. So these are the three.
How would you differentiate between desire and lust? Is the lust not a higher form of a desire, or
Yes,
they are
sir.
different?
Desire in its most uncontrollable form is lust.
Uncontrolled form of lust.
Yes, sir. It is what is like here. Desire is a fire that rages. Somehow, some people learn to control that fire. But lust is the uncontrollable inferno. Firefighters also sometimes try to douse it, but they are not able to. That kind of inferno. It is something like that. Originates from this. And you see this desire, all three are in increasing intensity. Rage. Desire is sometimes there are small desires. I have a desire to eat something. We were reading correspondence with Sri Aurobindo by Dr. Nirod Buran. The young sadhak has desire for tea. So he asks, whereas he's a doctor and he's now into sadhana, so he wants to follow Sri Aurobindo's principles. And so a general diktat was given that you stop eating food from outside. But every 4 or 5 letters, he said, can I go and have a tea? I don't think my sadhana will get destroyed if I have a cup of tea. Is this entire yoga so weak that it is going to be destroyed with a cup of tea? That says what we can say a small desire, which the divine sometimes, chalo, theek hai, you go, permits. Sri Aurobindo does give, chalo, if it's okay, it's all right. Your sadhana is more important. If it's making you restless in meditation, you're not able to concentrate without it, it's all right. But remember, you'll have to go transcend it. Desire is all right. But when desire starts becoming more strong, then desires problem with desires is they don't get fulfilled. You feel this comes to me, I'll become happy. But no, I'm not happy. And when it doesn't get fulfilled, it becomes rage. Rage is dangerous. Rage goes on increasing, and then the lust also, desire starts increasing along with rage, and then it becomes into the worst stage, that is the lust. And all three are causing, means even from the smallest to the biggest, they are causing hell to enter into our life. What do we do when we have these kind of
White
gates which
paper.
are opening hell into our life? What can we do? We have to close them only, isn't it? Say Bharat has three borders which knows infiltration will take place. Now, say specifically from the western border, there is a greatest chance of infiltration. What should Bharat do then? Deploy, isn't it? Deploy armed personnel, fortify those borders, get alert. Same thing, understand inside of us. Look at our own life instead of looking at somebody else's life. From where are the forces entering into me? Where are the asuric forces entering inside? Are they entering from the desire side? Are they entering from rage? Am I justifying that rage? Am I allowing it to go on? Or is there a lust inside of me which I am not able to control? Which of these three are my weak gates? And when you know one gate is weak, fortify it. As simple as that. Because then you can become free, Krishna says. When you become free, Krishna says, Etair vimuktah kaunteya tamodvarai stribhir naraha acharatyatmanaha shreyas tato yati param gatim. O Arjuna, liberated from the doors of darkness, man can attain a union in my oneness. For then he can journey on his own, alone, reaching the highest status of the soul that is known. So, what is this Krishna is saying? He says, liberated from this tamadwara. These are called the darkness, the doors of darkness. When these doors are closed, then only the real sadhana will begin, isn't it? You are right now still fighting in this lower forces only. Where will you get the chance for taking the leaps into the higher states of consciousness? So, first, the base. Raviji wants to say something, is it so?
No, no,
All right, sir. Sorry.
no. Thank
I
you.
thought you were
Sorry.
saying.
No.
No problem, sir. Please go on. Okay, sir. So, liberated from the doors of darkness, one can become one with the divine. First, these battles have to be over. Desire should not, you should go to a state where desire will not cause a fluctuation inside of you. You have risen above that desire. You should go to a stage where rage is not going to come inside of you. Even the worst thing happening against your will, You should be able to take it with samatha because that is what the teaching of Gita is. Balance. Mana apaman. Somebody says you are so great, you are the best. What's going to happen? If you take that, then then they say you are the worst, that also you will start taking because you have opened that gate. Instead, close it. Somebody praises you or criticizes you. Keep that balanced. That is something Krishna is saying. So when we are able to close these gates, we can experience the higher consciousness. One person then can journey on his own, alone, and reach the higher status. Does that mean all on the yogic path have to be alone, have to be lonely? Spiritual path is a lonely path, is it? Many people are afraid reading Bhagavad Gita. If you read Gita, you will not get married. If you read Gita, you will not have friends. I met my own friend in the hospital. He said, "You were taking," my father was that time in the ICU and it was a very difficult moment. But that time, he said, "Do you want a coffee?" Or because you're reading Gita now, that also has stopped. We all have other misconceptions. Spiritual path is something different. It's not like that, isn't it? But the problem is we become insecure when we are alone for even 1 minute. There are people who cannot sit alone for 5 minutes. You did not send me a message. You didn't tell me anything. You didn't say hello. You did not say how beautiful I'm looking today or how wonderful my mustache is or whatever, something like that. There are people, all genders. They have this insecurity, continuous insecurity. They want in relationships also, they want continuous reaffirmations because they're not at peace. They're continuously insecure. They're having that disturbance inside. You sit. Can anybody sit alone for? Do we have that ability to sit alone for some time? Anybody? Yes. We have learned dhyana, isn't it? We can sit. That is also allowing
Yes,
us
we
to.
can sit. Yes, we can definitely
Yes.
sit. We
Yes.
have to be determined.
Yeah. Because we are then in control of our mind. Otherwise, when somebody sits alone, no, they say, I get all wrong thoughts, I get bad thoughts, I don't want to. I better go do some other work, but don't let me sit alone. There's one sadhana one where you just sit quietly, switch off the light, sit in darkness. Just sit in darkness, don't do anything, sit on a chair and just 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And then the real inner darkness becomes visible that time. If you're able to remain quiet, the inner jyoti is burning, then you are free. Whether it's dark or whether it is light, you are able to understand. You experience what is a meditation of Shanti. But otherwise, it's not. So a yogi is able to. Why Rabindranath Tagore or Gurudev would say, Ekla chalo re. Even if nobody is there around you, you are having the strength. Meaning, you are able to walk alone. Even you have to stand for the truth, you will be able to stand alone. You don't need support for standing for the truth. Even if the entire world is against you, you have that strength.
Is it not that,
You,
if you really have a positivity within
yeah,
you, and if you are able to spread that positivity and love to the others,
yes,
even if you are at that time when you are ekla chalo re, the others, that support will come even if they are not near you, that propels
yeah,
you.
yes. And most of the people who are pathfinders, what do? They walk alone first to find the path, and then they're suddenly when they look back, the big वो कारवा बढ़ता चला. No, it is something like that. The big there's a big following. People join automatically. So first thing is meaning alone in the sense in your own company. You're not considering your company to be irritating or boring. You're thinking it's a quality time. You've become best friend with yourself. That is the ability. That is what sadhana is about. There's a one beautiful geet in Marathi. ध्यास एक साधका अंतरात ठेवतो जाण यत्न देवतो जाण यत्न देवतो. There's a line which says नसेल सोबती कोणी संगती तुझ्या जरी असेल रात्र काजळी भोवती तुझ्या जरी. Means there may be nobody around you except pitch darkness. Still go deep into your sadhana. साधनेत आपल्या मग्न हो सदैव तू. Because you will become that lamp. I think Manisha ji had once sung Rabindranath Tagore's song also in one of the bhajan sessions, if I recollect. The same one about Ekla Chalore. It is the same principle there. You become the light. You gave the strength and you're able to walk alone. Krishna goes on, and as Raviji said, when you're doing good work, you're a source of light. Will you be alone? Will the world leave you? No, you have little goodness. Everybody wants to run after that. You try to replicate it or gather something from it. So you'll that question of being lonely will never come in such a life. But even that person is not going to get carried away by the forces outside. The person is connected, and the connection is with the divine, with direct connection. That is important. Krishna goes on. But here is an interesting shloka. Krishna says, Yah Shastra Vidhi Mutsrajya Vartate Kamakarataha Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti Na Sukham Na Param Gatim. But he who disregards the rules mandatory that the golden scriptures deem necessary, follows his desires and reaches the sorry plight of imperfection and sorrow that comes in the absence of light. Krishna says, but those who don't read the Shastras, don't live the Shastras principles, they suffer, is what Krishna is saying. They suffer that sorry plight. Suddenly has Krishna changed his Rupa now, philosophically? Vishwarupa and all we could understand. But now Krishna says, you don't read Shastra, so you suffered. Is it a curse? Because you didn't read, I got insecure. God is only saying that because certain religions tell that. You don't read the book, you don't read my book, you don't say my name, then Katti, you will go to hell. That is what God is saying. Is Krishna also saying something like that? You have not reading scriptures, so you will suffer? If not, what is the meaning of this shloka? Anybody? Those who don't follow this rules. He's calling it mandatory. Yes, Raviji, you are saying something, sir.
No, no.
No, all right. Okay, fine. It was unmuted, so I just thought. Yes. Anybody? Okay, I can just give an example then. When I was young, when Bhaiya told me to touch fire, when I touched fire, I burnt. Now, did it get burnt because he told me to touch the fire? No, it was because fire burns, isn't it? So it's like cause and effect. Krishna is saying if you don't follow these scriptures, if you don't follow the Shastra, and specifically which Shastra is talking about, he's talking about a Jivan Shastra right now, isn't it? He talked about Naraka Dwara. He talked about these three Dwaras. He talks about controlling desires, controlling anger, controlling rage. Because of our ankar, what do we feel sometimes? No, no, Shastra is talking only 50% truth. Shastra is not fully practical in today's life. It was practical that time, and then we forget this principle. It's like, all right, let me have little bit rage. I should have rage. I should have anger. I should have little desire. What's going to happen then? Slowly the desires will take control. That is what Krishna is talking about. You don't follow these. It's about following the teachings. If you don't follow, what's going to happen? The person follows his desires. So, and reaches the sorry plight of imperfection and sorrow that comes in the absence of light. So it is not a curse of Krishna, it is more of a cause and effect. You say, I will allow my desires to lead me. What's going to happen? I'm going to be just at the mercy of desires. Today, desire is taking me here, tomorrow, it's taking me there. Somebody recognizes my desire, makes me the slave of that person. Easily, that person keeps manipulating, and I'm like, "Chai, I'm getting some kind of somebody is giving me some kind of morsels of food, or somebody is giving me some kind of what they say, weak. No, because of desire, you become weak, you become trapped, you become vulnerable to manipulation. In corporate sector, also same thing. Desire for promotion. You may have a good intention ki I want promotion so I can support my family. I want promotion to do some good deed. I want promotion to increase my bank account, whatever name it may be there. But it's still a desire, isn't it? And so because of that desire, your boss immediately catches ki chalo, this person is having the desire. So this person is now vulnerable. Immediately, I will recommend your name in the next board meeting. So work on weekends also. There is no next board meeting, but he knows you have this desire, so you become a slave there. So this is the sad thing what Krishna talks about. There is imperfection, there is sorrow, which comes in the absence of light. Krishna goes on further, he says, Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te Karya Karya Vyavasthitau Gnatva Shastra Vidhanoktam Karma Kartum Niharhasi. Therefore, let the scriptures be your guide, and by their truths may you always abide. By understanding them, follow their declaration. In all works and actions, bring forth your emancipation. Krishna is saying, let the Shastras be your guide, let the scriptures be your guide. Why? Most of the people have not read Shastras, isn't it? Most have not studied the scriptures. So what do we know about scriptures? We only know that scriptures are regressive. Scriptures are going to trouble us. Scriptures are making us do this. Why? Somebody told us. Did we try to open and read? Where is it told? Who has told? How? No, not at all. I remember one participant. So should we follow scriptures? I say, yes. Which scriptures are you talking about? No, no, those scriptures which tell you should have kadwa chauth when you're having hunger in your stomach. Do you say I should have? It's like you are hungry. The first thing is shariram adhyam khalu dharma sadhana. If you're not sure, I was going to faint because I followed kadwa chauth. See, if your sharira dharma is not right, this is something. This is just a what we can say a tradition. It has each of its purpose, isn't it? Upas also has a value, no? But it doesn't sound cool when it is written in the scriptures. But when some Western paper talks about intermittent fasting, looks good. Pranayam sounds bad, but cardiac rhythmic breathing sounds cool. The same pranayam is repackaged. So this something is there where we have not studied. So Krishna here is asking us because sometimes people after reading Gita say Gita is enough, so all scriptures are useless. Gita is saying just follow your. These people have interpretations, wrong interpretations. That Gita is against scriptures. People say Vaishnavites are against certain scriptures. There's nothing. There's no ite in Vaishnavite, and there's no fight in anybody. Shaivite, Vaishnavite, they are one, isn't it? But this aspect comes in the human mind. So Krishna here clarifies very beautifully. He says, let the Shastras be your guide. Why? If the truth is there somewhere, you have to understand it. You have to study it. By being their guide, what should you do? What means when they are your guide? Follow the truths in them, isn't it? Follow the truth in the Shastra. Let the scriptures be your guide, and by their truths may you always abide. By understanding them, follow their declaration. In all works and actions, bring forth your emancipation. This is the most important part. Krishna is not saying, forget karma, sit in your home, keep reading all scriptures. No, he's saying, read the scriptures because they are a guide. More important than the scripture is the truth that is contained in the scripture. And understand that truth, follow the scripture, follow the declaration, bring forth your emancipation in all your works and in your all your actions. Isn't this important? This is most important. Today we live in an age of information, isn't it? Information comes whether or not you want it. Sometimes it comes more than what you want. You have to learn to know enough, close, enough. I don't want so much information. But is information same as realization? No. Such a big difference. Sometimes there's a very vast distance between information and realization. Information has to be processed. Then that after processing it becomes understanding. When you are able to understand that is something, information has to be understood. Then you have to what you understand, you have to bring into practice so that it becomes experience. When the experience is assimilated in your life, then only the realization comes. Such a big process is there. The moment somebody reads a few shlokas and they say, that's it, I am this, I am that, immediately, I speak the Shastras now. Are you living the Shastras? That is the bigger question one must ask. And that is what Krishna is saying. He's talking about the practical aspect. You must live it. You must live the principles. Damliji says the Shastras will confirm when you are in the higher state of consciousness or no further forget higher, lower state. Just when you have got the understanding, when you have got the experience, the Shastras will confirm what you understand is true. The same participant who was, I told you, against Kadwa Chauth, she asked me very firmly, and I said, she said, what will you say? I said, for you, if you feel it is troubling you, you don't have to compulsorily do it. She was very happy about that. But after 18th Adhyay, she sent me one PDF where she has described all the traditions and their meaning behind it. And she says she feels like following them right now because now she's understood it. She's realized the importance. But because it was being forced on her, she didn't like it. The same truth which was being forced on her. That time it was just sounding like some unnecessary information which is not necessary in my life. But when after she understood it, she started following it. And then there is a freedom in Sanatana Dharma. There's no compulsion that you must do like this, must do like that. Instead, follow your Swadharma, follow your Swadharma at all times. You will understand. And Shastras are about rising. No, it's about everything is about raising of consciousness, and that is what Krishna is talking about. So let us see. We go into the next chapter, which is the penultimate Adhyay, Adhyay number 17 of the Gita. It again starts with the question of Arjuna. We are very lucky. Arjuna is there. If somebody like me, boring it would have been. Somebody like me was there, would have not had a Gita only. Arjuna asks questions, so we are very blessed that we can hear Krishna's words. Arjuna Vacha. Krishna told about Shastra, isn't it? So Arjuna has to ask about Shastra immediately. This is a pattern. Krishna says something, he says about Prayana Kala. Immediately he says, tell me, Krishna. Krishna, tell me what happens after Mrityu. Tell me what happens in the Prayana Kala. How will a person go after Prayana Kala? So now Krishna talked about Shastra. Arjuna's question is immediately about Shastra. This also shows one thing, no? Arjuna is listening. Arjuna is listening sincerely. He's quiet, but it's not that he's daydreaming. He is listening. Immediately he asks a question. He's not letting Krishna speak. It was one person asked, but how did he know it to ask it in the start of the Adhyay? Did Krishna say Atha? He was Atha Saptadashodhyayah. Did Krishna start saying that? That's a division afterwards, isn't it? So this Adhyaya has got a name afterwards, but this was the dialogue. It was divided. When you write something also, when an author writes a book, bhaga and parts are done afterwards, isn't it? First the flow is complete, and then it is for purpose of understanding, for purpose of study. So Krishna said this, and now this comes a new chapter because it is now about the Shastra and Shraddha. Krishna is immediately asked this question by Arjuna. Arjuna Uvacha. ये शास्त्रविधिम् उत्सृज्य यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेषां निष्ठा तु का कृष्ण सत्वमाहो रजस्तमः. Arjuna asked, "Oh Krishna, what about those who follow not the scripture and yet perform sacrifices with the faith of the highest stature? What is the underlying nature of their devotion? Which of the three, sattva, raja, or tamas, is their action?" So this is an interesting question. It reminds me of that same participant only. The Shraddha was there. Shraddha was there, but there was something I have been unfairly troubled. So I will not worship Krishna like this. So I don't like this. But the Shraddha for Krishna was there. So something like that, there are people. Arjuna is asking, what about those who don't follow the scripture? They have decided, कि चलो मैं तो नहीं करूँगा. I will not follow the scripture. But they still perform sacrifices. They do the yajnas. They do sacrifices in life. They have faith for the divine of the highest nature. There are many people, isn't it? They get very angry with God and say some XYZ things about God. And yet you see them, they go in front of the Aradhya and they do Namaskar also at the same time. As if in the Devalaya he's immediately going to forget everything what happens because that is out of network area for the divine. But that's not the case. So, but there is a devotion inside also. It's not like they are not having devotion. So, what is the nature of this devotion is what Arjuna is asking. Is it sattvic? Is it rajasic? Or is it tamasic? This shows us that the three gunas have a bearing on even Shraddha. Not just Shraddha actually. they have a bearing on our entire life. The way we talk, the way we think, the way we act, the way we live. In short, on our entire life, the three operating systems introduced by Krishna, Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva, they are shaping our lives in ways we don't realize also. They have a very big impact on us. We don't realize. Somebody says, I'm lazy. Did you choose to be lazy, or it is tamas that is making you lazy? That is the big question. Or I get irritated very easily. Again, that is because Rajas is making you irritated. These are all aspects. Where are you going to be controlled? Or you are going to exercise your own free will and rise beyond the control of Prakriti. That is something. So here, Shraddha is what Krishna is being asked. What is this Shraddha? Is it Sattvic? Is it Rajasic? Is it Tamasic? If Krishna by mistake also just said Sattvic, immediately everybody will say, no need to follow scripture anymore. No need. So let us see. It's a big, you see, Krishna has a big liability. Arjuna has no liability in asking the question, isn't it? He is free. But what Krishna says is being recorded. He has to completely, perfectly say in the Gita. Otherwise, what will we say? Krishna has said in the Gita, this is okay. That's it. That becomes an example. So let us see what Krishna speaks. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. त्रिविधा भवति श्रद्धा देहिनां सा स्वभावजा सात्विकी राजसी चैव तामसी चैव समसी चेति ताम शृणु. Shri Krishna replied, a triple combination of the natures, it may be told. Listen, for I shall verily explain their faith threefold. Which of the three qualities is dominant? In that being, that nature of faith is predominant. So Krishna says it is like a mishram. All the three gunas they operate, isn't it? So they are like three primary colors. From the three primary colors, what do we get? So many shades of colors. We're all wearing different colored clothes today. Yet they have come from the same primary colors only, isn't it? So like that, this Shraddha is also having a mix of Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva. Whatever is predominant at that time, that is the nature of that person, is what Krishna is saying. Whichever of the three is predominant. Ravana had Shraddha or not? Shraddha in Shiva or not? Anybody? Yes.
Yes, sir.
What? Okay, Manisha ji, what type of Shraddha was it? If we want to just guess, we can't really, we should never comment on anybody's. But Ravana is a character we can talk about right now. Rama has already seen to that he will not take any revenge on us right now. So, yes, Manisha ji, what type of Shraddha, if you say in Ravana, was there?
Maybe Rajasic Shraddha.
Maybe Rajasic. If we look at the story of the Tandav, how the Tandav Sutra's origin is initially Rajasic only, isn't it?
Yes.
I have to go to meet my favorite Aradhya, and I am his greatest bhakta. Who is this Nandi trying to block me? Who is this Nandi trying to stop me? My Aradhya will listen to me? No, he's in a trance and the pathway is only barred. Nandi stopped him completely with his Mayavi Shakti. He said, you'll not go ahead now. Even frustrated. If I cannot go to my Aradhya, I'll make the Aradhya come to me, and he raised the Kailasha using his strength and prowess. Now, isn't that Rajas? So people have that. That is a type of Shraddha. Again, this doesn't work too much, isn't it? Rajasic force helps up to a point after which it doesn't. So the Kailasha was hovering for a short period of time. Indra, all the devas were all worried what's going to happen now. What did Shiva do? He didn't wake up from his trance. With the tip of his toe, he pushes it back and then it falls onto the hand of Dashavakra. And then he screams. He screams so loud that everybody now know him as Ravan, the one who cries. He's got that name because he's shouting. And then what happens? Our Nandi comes to advise because he feels Karuna. He goes and tells, see, Bholenath is Bhole. He will forgive you. Say something with from the bottom of your heart. So the same Ravan who was Rajasic one moment ago, forgetting his pain, develops sattvic nature inside of him and Starts Jatatavi Galajvala. It goes on continuously. And he composes such a beautiful, we can say, Tandava Stotra that he gets blessed by by Shiva. He even gives him a weapon as a blessing. So what has happened here? A transformation has happened. So, but what has happened? Predominant Shraddha became Sattvic. So he got blessing. Shraddha that time was Rajasic. He got Rajasic reaction. For that he got his whatever lesson was there. So Shraddha also has a stamp of the gunas, is what Krishna is talking about. He goes on further. So it's a triple combination of natures, Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva. Sattvanurupa sarvasya Shraddha bhavati bharata श्रद्धामयोऽयं पुरुषो यत् श्रद्धः स एव सः श्रद्धामयोऽयं पुरुषो यो यत् श्रद्धः स एव सः. This is a beautiful shloka. Shraddhamayoya purusha. Shraddha is the essence. Shraddha is the core of a person. Whatever your Shraddha is, you become like that. They say, no, what you think, you are what you think, something like that. Your Shraddha is the core fundamental aspect of you. You shape yourself by your Shraddha. What Shraddha is pure, the Shraddha in your heart, the strength, all of it, what you think, what you believe in firmly with the divine's grace, you start manifesting that also. Krishna says, oh Arjuna, the faith in every being is distinct. Meaning your Shraddha, my Shraddha, everybody's Shraddha is going to be distinct. It's going to be unique. How and how is it? Depending purely on the soul's natural instinct. I used to tease my friend for saying natural. I started calling it natural. So natural, it's on the depending purely on the soul's natural instinct. Each person has a swabhava. According to that, the person's shraddha is going to be there. That means what is the divine doing? He's enjoying different flavors of shraddha. It's like different flavors of ice creams. He's getting the taste of everybody, all the different flavors, something like that. Each person's shraddha. We may have similarities in our thinking. We may have similarities in our approach. We may have similarities, but still, exactly if you look at it, each one is like, best example is the color, isn't it? Sometimes my mother used to have worn a different saree for me to look the same color because I don't see the hues so much different. But she had that understanding, so this is different from the other one because each hue has a slight difference in it. So something like that, this divine is able to see. Divine is able to see that. And made up of faith is the inner embodiment living. However, his faith is, that way is the being. Faith is like what we call the backbone of an individual. However, your faith is, you are like that. Your faith is strong and firm, no? Drudha. You also become that Drudha only. Nothing, no force in the world can shake. My question is if Shraddha is so powerful, do we have the authority to change somebody's Shraddha? Do we have the authority to comment on somebody's Shraddha? You are worshipping a false god. You are worshipping God. Yes or no?
Shraddha has to be something which is to be created from within.
Yes.
It cannot be just, that you can thrust on
It cannot be
somebody.
thrust. It cannot be thrust on someone. Absolutely. Hiranyakashipu tried to thrust, isn't it? On
Yeah.
Prahlada. That you must worship me. I am the all-powerful father of you and also in control of everything. You must worship me. I have control. I know what is practical. You are unnecessarily saying Narayana's name is going to make you weak and useless. Forget him.
It's,
And
it's a
Hiranyakashipu,
it's a circle as I see it. We say
yes,
that the divine is within, connect to that. And once you are connected, automatically Shraddha comes in and you have the full faith that he is taking care of you, he is guiding you. You do not have to worry, exercise whatever free will which he gives you. So somehow, it's a cycle or a circle which keeps
yeah.
on
What is the
coming
first?
down.
What is last? We don't know, isn't
We
it?
don't know what it is.
Yeah, because I remember one professor used to, school teacher used to be there. Whenever difficult question would ask, he would come, see, in Tamil he would say, Koi muttai munadi vandircha, koi munu. Did the chicken come first or did the egg come first? This is the type of question. We don't have an answer and he would walk away. That was his very standard way. But you see, this aspect, as Raviji says, yes, we cannot say what comes first for what person. But this much we can do, isn't it? That we don't go and try to disturb somebody's Shraddha. We don't ridicule somebody's Shraddha sthana. We may not agree with it. We may not like it at all. It's all right. As long as it's not coming into our Swadharma, it's not troubling. Otherwise, some people, their Shraddha is that your Dharma is bad and they want to attack it. There you cannot say, okay, Bhagwan, you are all your Vishwarupa, please manifest. I'm going to just get a few more punches till you manifest your Vishwarupa. There you have to start, your Kshatriya Dharma has to rise. That must happen, isn't it? But otherwise, unless this aspect has to, where it becomes a question of protection, self-preservation, that's a different case. But otherwise, do you have the right to go and disturb? No, not at all.
I'll share some small experience.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
But I know whenever I talk to some people
Yeah.
and they come from different Shraddha and different faiths, or no, whatever they
Yeah.
have.
Yes, sir.
If I generally find that, if I am talking about something different, little bit, then I have Shraddha or faith in X and he is in Y.
Hmm.
And if this gentleman from whom I am talking to,
Hmm.
if he says that everyone is different this thing and he doesn't object about it or he doesn't comment on it or he doesn't go against it and all that, my it's a judgmental thing. I think that the guy is really connected to his own divine very
Hmm.
well, and he is neither trying to undermine anybody else, and
Yeah.
he goes with your. And then when I say that, okay, this is my experience, would you like to have an experience with what this is? And if he doesn't really outrightly reject it or something, I am seeing that he is really totally connected to divinity.
Yes, yes, yes. Krishna has told, Na buddhi bhedam. It's not our job. Psychologists also tell the same thing. Don't try to provoke somebody or touch somebody's Shraddhasthana. If that person is psychotic, he will come after you only. He'll attack you. And if that person is neurotic, you will send that person into depression for no reason. That person will blame you only. So even Gita Krishna didn't start telling to Arjuna until Arjuna got the Shraddha to ask the question. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. Hey Krishna, teach me. I'm scared. I'm afraid. I don't know. So when Krishna doesn't go giving pravachans to his beloved, his dearest Arjuna, whom he cares, whom he loves so much, do we have the right? No, we don't have. Let's not waste our time. Let's not trouble somebody else also. Even if we have goodwill, until that person wants to listen or receive from you, don't. Because Shraddha is very, very unique inside each person. And our Shraddhastan, that we should focus, no? Instead of somebody else's Shraddhastan, focus on making your Shraddhastan strong. Because sometimes what happens after walking on the path for so many years, suddenly the Shraddhastan only becomes weak. Then they start feeling, oh, no, no, no. Maybe my Aradhya is not so strong. Let me start worshipping another Aradhya. I've actually seen a person change the photos of the divine in his home. He's actually changed it. For so many years in his life, this person had experiences, everything. Life got settled according to that person because of the blessings of the Aradhya. And suddenly now I have a new one. What has happened here? That is not a strong Shraddha. That is what we call Trishanku state. Neither here nor there. Today you are getting good market results in this share, so you have invested. Tomorrow you're going to change immediately when market conditions change. Day after tomorrow, one more place you'll try to invest. That's not that. So, but you see, how your Shraddha is, that is how your life experience is going to be. That is important. I think we'll stop here because it's an important shloka. This part only is something worth dwelling also. And so that means we have to be very careful. We have to be conscious. We have to keep our personal desires aside and try to cultivate Shraddha. The interesting part is it cannot be forced. It has to develop naturally. There's a beautiful one. There was just one small example. One boy had great Shraddha in his father. And so he was traveling on the ship with his father. Suddenly, the ship met with an accident, some iceberg or something. It was now sinking. Captain gave an order. Everybody started panicking because when everybody's worried about life, nobody listens to anybody. No? So the captain's order also, this was nobody was listening. But his boy's father said, "Beta, go stand there. All right, I'll come. I'll come after some time." That's all he's told. This boy coolly went and he just went and he was still standing where he was instructed. Everybody, elders, youngsters, all are running around in panic. This boy is very cool and he's standing in the right place. The captain, though he was giving instructions, he's surprised. He goes running to that boy and he says, "Beta, why? What happened? Are you not afraid? You're standing so calm as if nothing." He said, "No, my father told me to stand here. He's going to come after some time." Now, what is this? This is Shraddha. This is Shraddha. This is a Shraddha which is not going to shake. And of course, his father would have told him, means he was a father who would stand by his words. So definitely he would come to save him. But it is something which has to come innately. For that, you have to be open, and Shraddha comes from the heart. Shraddha comes from love. Shraddha comes from adoration. It is something. Your heart has to open. Your heart has to learn to love unconditionally. Are there terms and conditions in love? No, isn't it? There are no terms and conditions. I loved so much. My love was measured by this device, 55 kilonewtons. So I need a return of 55 kilonewtons. Can it be equated that way? Not at all, not at all. That is exactly what it is. Shraddha is your love for the divine. Shraddha is love for the universe, everything, and recognizing the divine in the Srishti also. That's what Krishna is talking about. We forget the divine in the universe. No, he looks good. God looks powerful in Vishwarupa mode, no? Especially in the Chitra, he looks very good in Vishwarupa. In real life, no, no, no. God does not. He cannot look like this. He cannot appear this way. He cannot be this way. He cannot. Who has told us? Which Shastra we have studied? No, it's our own mental understanding, isn't it? A Bhakta was there. Another same story, another flooding story only. Flood was happening in the village. There was this Bhakta. Again, he had Shraddha in the divine. Not worried. Not worried about drowning because God will take care. So he climbed up on the top of the home. Everybody is afraid, panicking. He's like, "No, God is all right." Then a boatman comes to him. He says, "Come, come, I'll take you away." He says, "Huh, you go somewhere else." This person comes again after some time. 3 times he comes asking him. He says, "Go, go." And that boatman also is like, "The last time I'm asking you, are you sure you will die?" He says, "No." Why? Because he said, "I have Shraddha in my Aradhya." And then this person drowns. And then he goes to meet his Aradhya in whichever loka it is. There he asks the Aradhya, "Why did you not save me?" He said, "I came thrice. I came thrice, but you did not. You did not." Meaning, what is there? This is something which mental calculations come in between. Your heart is open, no, you will understand, and it becomes very, very simple. You can easily gather the understanding, and Sakshatkar comes from the Hridaya only. Yeah, that is why it is said dhyana. When you do, sometimes you're doing meditation, focus in the heart center. For some people, that gives greater opening than even focusing at the point between the eyebrows. Because that is also one more place. No, Krishna says, "No, I sit there." So focus on the Raja who is sitting there. Who knows, he'll come give darshana. He might even take you in a palki without your knowledge. You will also enjoy his company. That is the thing. Sudama got transformation of life suddenly when he least expected it. Never, never, never. What was his sincerity was all that was there, and his Shraddha in the divine. That is all. And that's all that mattered. It didn't make a difference also for him. Getting that material wealth also didn't make a difference in him. But what made a difference was this was a blessing, so he enjoyed it most. That is something. So Shraddha, I think we all must pray that we all have what we can say, Dhruda Shraddha. We all have a wonderful Shraddha Sthana, which will not shake. It is like what we call the rasa of life. It's like if you have pots in your plant, in your home, It's like the moisture that keeps the plants healthy and happy. Like that, Shraddha is going to, it is that very fertile soil for receiving higher realizations. It is the fertile soil for doing great karmas. It is also the fertile soil which will allow you to understand the secrets of bhakti yoga. So all margas. Because otherwise, knowledge is dry without Shraddha. Karmas are also heartless without Shraddha. And bhakti cannot exist without Shraddha. So that is important. So let us see what Krishna tells. But at least now, Shraddha Mayoya Purusha. However, our Shraddha is, we are going to be that way. Conversely, if we want to be in a particular way, let us align our Shraddha accordingly. It is as simple as that. So with this, we conclude today. If somebody can summarize anything, you are most welcome. If anybody can summarize a few points, we conclude after that. Also, if any queries are there, you are most welcome. Yes, anybody? Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Or anybody, anybody, anybody. Yes. One thing is there, if nobody answers after two more adhyas, I will stop asking. We have only two more adhyas. Yeah. Yes, please. I can't say the Shanti mantra until we have a summary. So, yes, please, somebody. Something, any point.
Yeah, so I remember one point
Yes, Joyji.
only. Kana said that so here whatever we learned, all that. So it was something like if you don't remember the God, then something will go wrong. But that's not like a कि कान्हा डरा रहे हैं. It's more of a fact that if you don't remember, then obviously something
You don't
like
follow the
this is something.
Shastra, isn't it? You don't follow the
Yeah.
scripture, follow the teachings, isn't it, Ji?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes. Ji, Ji. Yes.
So that's the point I only remember. Sorry.
Okay. Tasmat Shastram Pramanam Te. Let the Shastras be your guide. Follow the scriptures. If you don't follow, then you will follow desires. It's like you're following a useless guide. Then you can't.
Yeah, and we
Hmm.
talked about three facts: desire, lust, and rage. These are the three gates. If we let it open, then obviously, we
Yes.
will. Our brain maybe go for a ride, and then things will go
We'll,
down. So we have
and
to
we'll experience
close
hell.
three gates.
Our life becomes what
Yes.
we call living hell because of these
Yep.
three.
Yep.
And the moment we know, ki chalo, I'm getting angry very easily, that means my rage gate is weak. What should we do? Call carpenter, double, double the strength on that gate, make it more firm, closed, so that it doesn't open. That's all that is sadhana, isn't it? That is sadhana. Controlling ourselves, evolving, becoming better than what we are today. Yes, so that is one more thing. Any other point, anybody?
Last was
Yes.
about the Shraddha. Shraddha, Sthan in Shraddha.
Yes,
That
sir.
is very important, and one has to really, develop that from within.
Yes, yes,
Then only, you will have all the
yes.
necessary guidance, which
Everything,
will come
everything.
automatically from somewhere. And
Yeah, yeah.
you have to recognize that and then just follow what
It's
it
like a
says.
fountain, and the
Yeah.
strot or the origin of the fountain or the ugam of the fountain is inside only, and everybody has that supply. It is not like there's no water, no supply. Only problem is there are boulders which have come from past experiences. From past experiences could be past experiences of this birth. Sometimes we are carrying over something from even before, some other backlog.
So
These are what we call
physical, emotional, psychological, mental blocks
yes, yes,
from
yes,
past
yes,
janmas or
yes,
this janma.
yes,
Or
yes. So what all we have to do is we have to call a cleaner, remove these unnecessary blockages, these stones.
all the avrans around the soul.
Yeah, and it rises there. Absolutely, sir. Because suddenly, sometimes one experience shakes us, and then suddenly the throat. It's like suddenly some big rock which is not moving suddenly moves inside, and then there is what as Tukaram says, Anandachi Dohi Ananda Tarangu. It was Tukaram's words only, isn't it? I don't know. I keep missing. I've not studied all these saints so well. But the
It's
essence is
Tukaram,
there.
it's Tukaram only.
Tukaram only, sir? Ji, sir.
Yes, yes.
Ji, ji. So the Ananda becomes ours then. So yes, let us conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Hari Om. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah. Sarve santu niramaya. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tat Sat. Krishna Mande Jagadguru. Jai Shri Krishna. Punarmilama. If any queries are there, you are welcome. Or we continue. So we will look into what is the Adhyay 17.
I wanted to ask, like, how are the divine, like nature, divine and demonic, how are they related to the gunas? Like,
Hmm.
gunas, we are like advised to rise above them, become gunati.
Yeah.
What is their connection with the nature? Like,
Now, Asuri and see, gunas are all three gunas are present inside all of us, isn't
even
it?
even in the divine person, they are present.
Yeah, I'll come to the Deva and the Asura, Aditiji. So if we look at gunas, they are present in all of us, isn't it? All three are there. It's a mixture of the three gunas. But interestingly, Krishna says a person is predominantly divine or predominantly Asuric. One of the two natures. Somebody is born with an inheritance. We have seen what is the Devi Sampati. If you look at that chapter starting, the shlokas, these are all the qualities that are likely to arise when you have sattvic nature, isn't it? It is the time where you are going to be peaceful. It is the time where you are going to be compassionate. It is the time when you are not going to try to, hurt someone. It is the time when the teja is going to be flowing from you. It is a time when you're not going to be jealous of somebody. So this is mostly sattvic. And if you see in terms of Asuri Swabhava, most of these, the person is greedy, the person is lustful, the person is desiring, the person thinks I am God. These are what mostly Rajasic and Tamasic in nature, isn't it? So there are shades of Tamas, shades of Rajas. We do not find Sattva nature too much or anywhere, isn't it, in the Asuri Swabhava? If you look at it in terms of Gunas, since you want to look at the two Swabhavas. But the interesting aspect of human beings is it is human being is very dynamic, isn't it? Some people are not purely Deva. They are Deva with Asuric shades. So sometimes Asuric people suddenly display divine traits. So the flow changes, isn't it? But overall, a person may be divine, overall, a person may be Asuric. The reason Krishna told understanding divine and Asuric nature is because you become alert. When you are around Asuric nature, you cannot expect, it's like you cannot trust them, no? You have understood that you cannot trust them, then where from is the expectation going to come? This person should be understanding. This person should speak in a proper manner. This person should do like this. This person should care for me. This person should think that I am an important entity or an individual or I am somebody. Why? That person is having Asuri nature. So that person is going to say you are a fool. That person is going to try to prove that you are helpless. The person is going to try to prove that you are mad. You have nothing right. So what should you do? You understand this is Asuri nature, I am on the guard. And some of the Lakshanas are mostly Rajasic nature is characteristic of Asuri nature. But also in Gunas, we have heard one interesting aspect of Gunatita, a higher stage. That is a masked stage. That is a stage which is we cannot perfectly understand. It looked like Krishna got angry when he picked up the chakra in his hand. It's like his you can see in his eyes also. But what is that? It is a sattvic. It is a sattvic anger. It's different. It is not out of frustration. So it shows that we also have to display or not. Means every time people sattvic people say, then what happens? They forget how to raise their voice. Forget how to take a stand because it's okay, it's okay. There's a story of a snake. I think we saw the story of the snake. Is it, Aditi? Or I don't know if this batch we did not see. The snake No, probably. Okay, the snake was very disappointed that the kids were afraid. Yeah,
Yeah.
I only eat rats. I don't hurt the kids. Look at the kids. They're saying I'm vicious and they are running away from me. They think I'm so slimy, slithering all the time everywhere. Kids are hating me. So the snake felt very bad. It's a Panchatantra story, of course. So that is why characters are there for means there's dialogues taking place. The snake goes to a hermit and that hermit, the snake asks, "What should I do?" Hey, Sadhu, you give advice to everybody. Give me some advice. He said, "Stop being vicious and biting all the time, every time. The kids will understand." So the snake interpreted something from what was told. And the snake became so docile that kids started, picking, playing with the snake like it's a lizard. The snake is being hit. Then the kid started injuring the snake. And when the snake started bleeding, that was where the snake got irritated. Now I'm going to bite that sadhu only for giving me this advice. What is this? He's asking me to be sattvic and look at what has happened because of it. So he goes angrily to the sadhu and says, "Look what you told me. You said not to be so ferocious. You told me calm down, become peaceful. All gunas of sattva guna, you told me I followed it. Look what has happened because of it." And then the sadhu said, "See, I told you not to bite. I didn't tell you not to raise your hood or hiss." Means that is an important aspect, isn't it? You don't get attached to only one aspect. So then people think you're not capable of it. You're incapable of raising your voice. You are weak. Perception also should not be created, isn't it? Most of the fights take place because of the perceptions created. So many fights can be avoided by the right perception. Posturing, what happens in diplomatic talks? It's a lot about perception, isn't it? Countries, they take a stand. We are not weak anymore. How suddenly a country can become strong and weak? Is it possible? No, but perception matters. So if you look at it, the three gunas are always functioning, they will always function inside of us. They will create the ground for us to behave in a particular way. Yogis will remain in control of the three gunas, they'll be able to operate, they'll be able to move from which guna to what without getting trapped. The highest and the greatest yogi is the one who is in always gunatit state where the person is what we can say autopilot mode. The person may be doing one thing at one time and second thing at another time and yet not getting affected by all of it. As far as the Swabhava, Asuri and Devi, people have predominant Swabhavas. So if you have a chance, associate with Devi Swabhava. Don't associate with Asuri Swabhava. You've got enough Lakshanas, you've got indications of Asuri Swabhava. Why do you want to continue there? It's not going to be a good deal for you. Wrong place to be dealing. That is all. But at the same time, since we recognize divine in everywhere, we will not dismiss anybody and this is Asuri, start labeling on the forehead of somebody. This is Asur, this is Deva is coming, Asur is coming. But no, this person has a tendency. This person is prone to undivine forces. So I'll be alert. The moment that person comes in, you become quiet. Quietly you understand कि चलो ठीक है. I'll not allow that force to enter inside of me. How does force enter? Through good as only, no? Person says something senseless, says something wrong out of tamas and makes Jagrut Rajas inside of us. So that is how it functions. So that is probably, so the overall nature is the Devi and Asuri Swabhava. Gives us a picture of a person, a blueprint of a person. But gunas, they're always going to be functioning inside everybody. Asuri's person by mistake can have sattvic guna and do something good, but otherwise will not consciously have that. So that is like divine makes that Asuri person do something right. You can laugh and experience ki, wow, divine, you made this. Appreciate your efforts in making sattva guna rise here inside of this individual. That is all. Yes, Steve. All right. Hari Om. Namaskar. Hari Om,
Hariom,
Dr. Vidisha ji. Yes, you want to say something? Hari
I
Om.
wanted your guidance for one thing related to Shraddha Stan. Like,
Ji, madam.
is it like we need to follow one God because what we are doing from childhood is like we fast during Mahashivratri or Shravani Somvar, Hanuman Jayanti, we recite Hanuman Chalisa. During Navratri, we listen to Path. and I am from a convent background, so I know Christmas carols also. So
Yeah.
during Christmas, just for celebration, I sing those carols also. So,
Okay.
like I wanted to ask that for like one Shraddha Stan should be there. So it's like we should like stick to one God and follow one God. Is that the
It is
concept?
said in sadhana, no? Why they say Ishta. Ishta or Aradhya is always one. Ekadevo Bhava, it is said. Means have one Aradhya. Means you can, it's like I love my mother. But does that mean I cannot see my mother in somebody else? Yes, I can see them. But my mother will always remain one, isn't it? Problem is what happens is people then sometimes start going for what? Why do they go to different gods? Falashruti. What we get in return. This god is more powerful. In this season, because now it is Navratri, Devi is more powerful. I will worship Devi only. If with this you are worshipping, then it becomes a problem. Otherwise, worshipper of Ganesha will see Ganesha with a basuri also, isn't it? This is an experience. A worshipper of Hari will get the experience of, and who is also having worship of Shiva. He is doing Shiva's worship while worshipping Hari. Again, they'll get the Harihara Narayana Rupa. So this is there. So this is not what we can say. If I worship this particular God, I will go away. But when you are doing sadhana, it's like you are doing PG in one subject. I like other subjects also. Can I do PG in five? Radio diagnosis also. I want pathology also. I want surgery also. It's not possible, isn't it? You choose one, no? It is like that. Because each marker is so vast. What will they say? Jack of all trades, master of none will happen. Situation comes. That is why it is said Ekavevo. Not because your Aradhya will get angry. Not because you will get side effects. Not nothing of that sort. Shraddha will be one. But remember ki now you have to first connect. You have to connect with one. That
Like
is why Guru, when
celebrating
Guru
divine
gives
days.
Diksha, when Guru gives Diksha, he generally gives Diksha of one Aradhya, and then that becomes the Guru mantra of that person, and then that person does sadhana.
Um, like with the thought of celebrating divine days is fine. Like if we do
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah. It is nothing
not
wrong.
for asking something or for any
No, it
gain,
is
just
not nothing,
thankful
but
and celebrating those
yeah, yeah, that
days.
is fine. But
That is it.
you have to find your Aradhya, your Ishta. A closeness must be established.
So how should we do that? Like, I
How to
also,
do it? What?
how do
How
we
to
find
do?
the Ishtadev? How do we do that?
When you go to a hotel and you order food, there's a menu, isn't it? So many are there. So many items. How do you choose? Do you ask, what are you doing? What is that person on that table ordering? Or how do you choose, Aditi ji? What
Whatever I'm in the mood on that day.
what comes to your heart? No.
Yeah.
What you feel, isn't it? So now you said mood. Moods change no all the time. I have a common menu generally. I go to one hotel, that person sees me and he says, Chalo, take hai. This fellow wants this only. So he doesn't even ask me nowadays what I want. But
I
moods
also
are
have
also.
paneer butter masala and two rotis. That's fixed menu.
Acha ji. Right. No, mood is separate. Mood keeps changing. What I'm saying is from heart, no, which deva, which connects so much to you, that you hold on. And who knows, Aradhya will take you. For me, before I found my guru, I wanted some direction and I was in a very hopeless emotional state. My friend, he got some free book from some Reader's Digest subscription. And he said, this is something in spirituality, take it. And I don't know how it felt like it was God's gift. I don't know why I felt that time. And maybe it was required. It was a gift of God, of course. So I took that book with full sincerity. It was written by the Dalai Lama. Awakening the mind, lightening the spirit. I was like, this is what I need now. My spirit is not light. I need to awaken. Now I don't know anything, no. But that book came to me. I felt, chalo, it has come from God only for me. So let me hold on to this. So you won't believe what I did. I put a photo of Dalai Lama in my home also. My parents got a little worried. Let them get worried. It's their job to get worried according to their wish. I am very sincere. And I started reading one page of that book every day. I had a habit of reading quickly. But this book, I was like, I'm going to read now because this has come directly from the divine. This was my Shraddha Sthana for me. I was like, now I'll start. and he was talking about worshipping Buddha. So Buddha became my first Aradhya in my life for me personally. And then the Marga, first Marga was Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Now I had to read this person's writing, so he's not perfect in. I mean, I will not say he's not perfect in pronunciation, but I think they call it Dhammam. No, Dhammam and Saranam is how they pronounce. So I also was pronouncing this way only instead of Sharanam also. And I kept reading that book only with full Shraddha. And while I was reading that book, somewhere, because one page only, and all my books are in bad condition, including the book that I am taking now for the class. It's in a very bad shape. But that book, I very sincerely covered it nicely, kept it perfect. And only one page, I was like, let me follow that one page with full sincerity. And then came a point in that book which told me that next step you want to go, it's difficult to go without a guru. Then I stopped at that point and I sat in front of the Murti of Buddha and I would ask, like, I want Guru. And I would cry. I would cry. And my parents thought I'm going through a depression. Because that was where I understood. Because that was my source. Then I got my direction, God's grace after some months, lots and lots of ups and downs. And then finally it happened. So that became a pivotal moment of my life. After joining, I got a different sadhana. And now Guru has given sadhana. That becomes my sadhana. No? That becomes my marga. He did not tell me don't worship Buddha. I always loved the quiet and peace which comes associated with Buddha. It was something which very much connected with me. But then after so many years, I had actually left my home also. So when I once went back home, that time I thought, let me see this book. Let me see this book and see which was that particular point. I could not find that line which says find a guru to go ahead. That was my understanding and interpretation which came. No? So what I'm saying is we have to become ready, we have to become open, we follow our principle. Divine arranges. But Ishta and Aradhya, which your heart connects, no? Your heart connects. So many Aradhyas are there. And you cannot say, like, if you have friends also, one is your good friend. And then suddenly somebody best friend comes, you will not say, Ja, we don't do like that. No. So if you're following it, follow sincerely and you will identify. You don't have to take decisions like on the basis of merits. It is your heart. It is your heart which is going to tell you. And through life experience that gets confirmed, it becomes Ruda, it becomes so firm that after a while you don't worry about anything. The question answer does not come. The question does not come at all. So, but then that point has to come where you must realize that this is a need. You establish it and it happens. Only I would say, do not use what I used was I used lower emotions. No, emotions will create unnecessary suffering. You don't have to suffer. Without suffering, also you can reach that state. You pull lower emotions, then you get the consequences of lower emotions. I was a little silly, or I did not know that. I didn't have direction about that time. So here it's like that is why they say if you want, hold on to Krishna. Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. He's got 100,000 forms. Whichever form you want, can easily move into Shiva if you want. Shiva they also in that. If somebody wants to go to Vama Marga also through Krishna, they can go to the Vama Marga. Whichever marga is required. You're not going to lose connection. But hold on firmly. Yes, Ji. All right. Hari Om. Namaskar.